If you're here watching this right now, then I'm guessing you have some interest in being able to harvest your own food from the land in a reliable and a sustainable way. And you also might be exploring the idea of becoming a hunter, or maybe you're a couple years into that journey and you're realizing how much there is to actually learn and that it'd be really helpful to have a guide. Either way, we got your back here. So, myself and my friend Caleb Musgrave, you may recognize Caleb from the Canadian Bushcraft podcast. We've started this experience we're calling the Hunter's Journey, and you can learn more about it below. So, we have a long term mentoring experience where we're going to have a community and a whole bunch of training available for you. All the details for that are below. And if you want to get a taste of our approach to mentoring and what we can offer you, then you can also sign up below again to get some free resources from us. And we'll share some links to some recordings that we've done, some PDFs, things of that nature to help you along the early stages of your hunter's journey. Now, I've had a dream since I was a young child of being able to live off the land to some degree. And for myself, I wasn't brought up doing this stuff. My family, they didn't hunt, they didn't fish, we didn't even grow food growing up. So I didn't really have a guide. Now, Caleb, on the flip side, he was brought up hunting in a traditional way. So he's been doing this since he was quite a child. But for myself, without a guide, I had to kind of just dive in on my own. And I'll tell you, when I first got started, I was just watching YouTube videos and reading everything I could. And I learned a ton. I had a ton of fun. But I hit this point where, I hadn't had any success. And I was a couple years into my journey. And half the time, I didn't even know if what I was doing in the woods actually made sense. I also had a lot of questions about the ethics and the sustainability about it, too, and whether what I was doing was even sustainable on the land. So, where things started to really shift for me is when I started to meet mentors and other people that were further along in the journey than me, but shared similar values than I did. And I can't stress enough how valuable it is to come in from your time in the forest and be able to debrief that experience with somebody that understands where you're at and somebody that can help you make sense of all of it and adapt your plan and your strategy to actually increase your odds of success going forward. My very first harvest was actually a snowshoe hare, and it was a few years into my journey. And then a couple years after that, I actually harvested my first deer, and I did it with a bow that I carved myself. That experience of harvesting my first two animals was nothing short of life changing. I remember how proud I was bringing this food home to my girlfriend at the time, now wife, that I was actually able to feed my family. And to know that I was doing it in a way where I wasn't hurting the long term health of the forest and the wildlife populations also meant so much to me. Beyond that, I developed this whole new sense of reverence for the species that I was hunting and this really different and deeper relationship with my food and the ecosystem I lived in. And that's just as much as an important part of the journey for me as it is for bringing home food. So if you kind of relate to those values and you want to explore your hunting journey a little bit further, or maybe you're already on that journey, but you realize how important that guide is and you could relate to some of those pieces. I've been hunting for well over a decade now, and Caleb's been doing it his entire life, and we'd love to be able to support you in the next steps of your journey. So again, you can click down below and sign up to get some free stuff, get a little bit of a sample of what we have to offer and our mentoring approach, our values, our ethics. Or you can sign up for the full course. And again, we have all the details down below about that. But the full course, you're going to get myself, Caleb, and a bunch of our friends as guides to answer your questions, to help you right through the entire process, and to help you troubleshoot as stuff comes up or things aren't working for you. So if that interests you, then sign up below, and I hope to see some of you in the course, or at very least checking out some of our free stuff. I'm going to go for a little walk and do some tracking right now. So Chris Gilmore here, signing off, and hopefully we'll see some of you in the community. Cheers.